The other day when I was out doing my MTB slam out on Lake X, I was on a swim jig and I was trying to cover water. You know, I was trying to pick apart these laydowns with a kind of a fast moving bait rather than like a crawl. And I kind of found myself to like disliking the action. So I thought, you know, I'll just switch to a chatterbait, basically the same little profile with a little more action and vibration. Sure enough, forgot the chatterbait and the swim jig box back at the dock. So I went looking through all my stuff on my terminal tackle to see if I had like a loose chatterbait in there, and I didn't find anything. But what I did find was a chatterbait blade, and I thought, I wonder if I could just make one out on the boat real quick. So real quick, I'm gonna take one of my favorite pitching jigs and basically turn it into a chatterbait. As you saw there, it's like really simple and easy to do. It takes like literally maybe 3 minutes tops. You know, the main problem I see with a lot of chatterbaits nowadays is they're kind of just made to do one thing and one thing only, and just to kind of be worked in a straight line and fished in open water or over grass beds or kind of around brush. How can you fish around that kind of stuff when you've got a chatterbait with a light wire hook like that? As you can see, that's already starting to bend. I boat flipped like, you know, a couple 2 and 3 pounders, and that's the result of that. Throwing a swim jig like this with a chatterbait blade on it, you've got a heavier duty hook. You get to choose kind of what presentation you want. And the other cool thing too is when you're throwing on a jig, you've actually got this light wire weed guard, which helps you kind of get untangled and go through brush with ease. So in my opinion, you're kind of limited when you just kind of buy a chatterbait out of the package. You know, get a couple blades. I know you can get them at some certain websites. I'll leave a couple links in the description below where you can buy them in like bulk, and you can buy some big split rings as well to kind of create your own presentation. Fishing is all about being unique and throwing a unique presentation that these fish haven't seen before. Local lakes are getting pressured and pressured every day. People are starting to fish more than ever. I mean, it's crazy as to how many lures these fish see on a daily basis. So keeping up with, you know, that diversity and throwing lures that look different and will kind of present a different presentation in front of that fish's face is really key, and is sometimes the difference between catching a fish and not catching a fish. While this is a super awesome way to kind of take your favorite jig and turn it into a reaction style bait, it doesn't work with all jigs. You're gonna need to play around with some of your jigs in your box before you find that sweet jig that works really well with this whole technique. One jig that I found works really well is this little Lanier's jigs. As you can see, that line tie is like flush up against the head, and it works really well when I put the split ring on there, and it swims true and it bounces side to side. The one that doesn't work too well is line ties like this. Not all line ties are bad, but this one, just the head design with the line tie, don't work too well. So this presentation, while it doesn't swim true, looks really good when I'm ripping it off the bottom, and that still can be very effective. And that all kind of goes back to the whole thing, like, don't just fish a chatterbait one way. Bounce it off the bottom, let it ricochet off stuff. I think sometimes people just think you have to like toss it out there and reel it, and that's how you work a chatterbait, but that's completely wrong. Not only do you get a different action opposed to different like chatterbaits straight out of the package, but you're more versatile with what presentation you throw. With a chatterbait like this, you can't change the jig in the back there. That metal is connected right on there. But the cool thing about having a split ring on there is you are virtually limitless to kind of what jig you want to put on there. You can change weights, you can change colors, skirt styles, you can throw skirt and no skirt. I mean, you could throw this on like just the front of a swim bait hook and put a swim bait on the back and just kind of run it over you know, some open water spots, and you're golden. This is my little tip for the day. I really like this. I didn't invent this. This isn't like something I created or came up with overnight, but it's something I kind of realized works for quite a lot of jigs out in the market. So play around with some jigs in your box, give it a go. I will leave all the links and the components where you can get them in the description so you guys can start creating some for yourself. If you guys have any questions about, you know, this little presentation right here, or just fishing questions in general, feel free to always leave me a comment in the comment section below. I always enjoy what you guys have to say, even if it isn't like fishing related. But that's about it. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys next time on the next episode of Fishing the Midwest.
you.